guys, welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. This is show number 6 out of 7 that we're doing today of the open studio sessions. I mean, like these shows, I was just explaining to our guest just now about how I thrive for these because they're fantastic ways of spending a whole day speaking to brilliant people from across the county, all around the world, right? Because the OSS is open to anybody. But by the end of it, I kind of need a little bit of help from my co-hosts, which is great. So I have brought a co-host with me that's got a mouthful of cake right now. Typical Jules. All right, Jules, you can knock once on the microphone if you want, if you're okay, or knock twice if you're not.
It's fine. It's flapjack, so it's melted quite nicely.
Oh, brilliant. And today we're joined by Amy Hughes, who is from Rainbows and Apron Strings, which is a fantastic bakery. We were just talking about the Instagram before we hit record. These cakes are fantastic. They're brilliant. Mm-hmm. They look beautiful. Amy, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you very much for having me. It's nice to be here.
Yeah. Well, we're here to talk about your business and your journey. So how long have you been baking for, Amy?
I've probably been baking since I was around 7, obviously with the help of my mum. Just, simple little things when you're that sort of age, like fairy cakes and things like that. And then, as I've got older, progressed to different things. And then, actual...
That's really nice. We spoke to Legina Leal, who came on the show. She sells spices and things for curries. She's amazing. She does cookery classes and everything. And we were talking about the one of the essences of family should be that experience in the kitchen, cooking things together and taking part in the meal experience.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I could agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, because for Mother's Day, me and Timmy put together this cool box of things that are all handpicked by Timmy. He's 6, and one of the things he picked was a shimmer and shine little fairy cake thing from Sainsbury's, and he's like, I want to make cakes with mama, and I was like, that's so beautiful. He cherishes that experience, and look what it's done for you. It's kind of helped you develop.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
How long have you had your business up and running then, Amy?
Officially, I started in September. So
last year?
September last year. So it's relatively new because my previous job, it closed due to COVID. So I was kind of a bit of a, what am I going to do? I decided to take the plunge, and I've been thinking about it for quite a while. People was asking me to make cakes, or how could they do this? Could I do that for them? And if ever there was a party or anything, I always got asked to bring a pudding or whatever, which I don't mind absolutely. So I kind of took the plunge in September. So yeah.
So you were one of these people when, like family and friends know that you knock out some really awesome cakes, and it's like, Amy will make us a cake, and you just sort of did it that way before. Yeah,
it's definitely been, we'll see if we can get Amy to do that. Or my sister is always sending me reels off Instagram, and she's like, can you do this for my birthday cake? Or can you do that for my birthday cake? Or what about this? What about that? Which is kind of cool. I do like it, but she does sometimes her ideas are quite difficult to pull off.
I've seen some of the stuff.
So I was muted there because it's a little bit of an experiment whilst doing the show, because obviously strapped for time and stuff. But I was showing my little boy just then. He's just like, he heard his name being mentioned. He was like, "Did you tell her about Shimmer and Shine?" I was like, "Yeah." So I was showing him your pictures on Instagram, and he was fully impressed. He saw the Cookie Monster thing you got there, and he was just like, "Wow." And no one eats Rocky Road like Timmy there. When we used to. Every time we go to, there used to be a soft play area in the prison, in Shrewsbury prison, not in just any prison. You know what I mean, guys? You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, yeah.
And every time, if Eve was listening to this now, she'd agree. Every time she used to serve the cafe, he'd ask for Rocky Road. So he saw your Rocky Road and he nearly died inside. So, yeah. Visually looks great.
It's a favourite, that one. It goes down quite well. I think Rocky Road, these simple things are what really go down well with people, if you do it well, I think it's important to get the basics right, and then you can go do anything really, I think.
Yeah, and stuff like that tastes nice as well, isn't it? So, it is a firm favourite because it's chocolate and it's marshmallows and it's what's not to like.
Yeah.
I love discussing when an idea becomes a business or a company, because we've just spoken to Sarah Meredith from Life of Riley. She was talking about how she made these treats for a dog who had food intolerances, and that suddenly everybody wanted to know about it. Everybody wanted to hear about what she'd made, and it became a business. Similar to a few businesses, Masks by Amy. She started making masks. People wanted masks. She made them. She sold them. It became a business. What was it like for you becoming a business, and what was the process like?
It was back sort of a V Day, I think, when my friend sort of said, "Oh, someone I know is doing afternoon tea, but it's over in Church Stretton. I wanted to get one for my grandparents." And she said, "Oh, is that something that you could do?" So I sort of said, "Oh yeah, I could give it a go." And then that's when I sort of thought about making it into more of a business. Really, was after that. So yeah, it worked quite well.
It's a word of mouth thing, isn't it? People talk about these things. We talk about social media, we talk about marketing, and I'm going to be spending money on marketing soon. It's very important, but at the same time, the Biscuit as a show, as an entity, as a thing, has grown because people have talked about it. Hey, I've got this podcast to listen to. I've got this. I haven't had to do much in way of sort of pushing this show because people just love talking about the things that they enjoy. Right? There's a bit of a lag, I think, on the day. It's fine.
Oh, you can catch it up, can't you?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Amy, can you hear us?
I can now. I don't quite know what happened then. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Interestingly, have you ever made Shrewsbury biscuits?
Yes, I have actually.
Have you?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Where I used to work, they were quite popular. We used to make them, which they always went down well. So yeah.
I have this idea when I was in the flotation tank in Shropshire Floats last week. I had this idea of making a coffee shop come studio, and if that ever happens, we'll have to sell. It'd be a crime not to sell Shrewsbury biscuits with the Shrewsbury biscuit logo.
It would be, wouldn't
it? Looking at some of your creations, I'm looking at them via Facebook at the moment. I mean, they are visually, obviously I can't taste one, but visually, they are absolutely stunning.
Thank you.
In terms of the detail that's gone into it, I mean, where do you get where do you get the skill from? Because you're probably just naturally gifted, but did you have to learn or follow a certain way to get some of these?
When I was little, my mum always made our birthday cakes. So every year she would make something that we wanted. So, for example, I had Forever Friends one year and she made the sofa and she made the little bears. So sort of growing up, she did things like that for us. So we kind of like just learned it, if that makes sense. I just had a little look at what mum was doing, looking at books and things. And then obviously as time's gone on and the internet is now everyone's friend, I've watched quite a few YouTube tutorials, and there's different people that I like that are in the similar sort of area to myself that I follow on Instagram and things like that, and they do lives and show you how to do things and show you what tools to use. So it's kind of like just a constant learning process, I guess. Which and then messing around sounds wrong, but just like messing about with different things and trying different things, see how they look and see what works and what doesn't. So obviously you don't see experimenting, that's the word I was looking for. You like on Instagram you never really put the things that go wrong and the sort of disasters that you have. Not now, there's not that many now, but when you first start doing things, sometimes you don't, perhaps you don't fill your cake tin enough and it's a bit flat or whatever. Right. So yeah, it's all a learning experience.
How many times have you got to experiment doing something new like that before you can feel confident enough to put a price tag on it?
I don't know, really. I think when I look at something, if I look at it and I think, oh, I wouldn't buy it or I wouldn't pay for it, then I think that's probably a sign that it's not good enough to put a price tag on it. But if I think, oh yeah, I'd be happy to receive that or to purchase that from a shop, then yeah, that's when it's time to be like, yeah, I could sell that.
Do you have like tasters? And I mean, you've probably got your family and sort of friends that like, we'll taste it for you. We'll tell you if it's sellable.
Everyone is always quite keen to be a taster or to try something. I do go to a market once a month in Wen, which is the little farmers market. It's the second Saturday of every month. So I take
the one in the car park, by the car park, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. So I go there, and I would, if I could, I would give out samples, but obviously due to COVID at the moment, you can't.
Yeah.
But hopefully when things are a bit more normal, then I would probably be inclined to give out samples of different things and get people, because it's always nice to have people's feedback. I don't really like salted caramel, which I know is probably, because it's really popular, I know it's probably like horrible. I'm not really a fan. So, but it doesn't stop me doing things with salted caramel. I just have to get either my brother or my dad to try it and say whether they think it's all right or not. So yeah, it's always nice to get people's feedback and if it's a good flavour or good combination.
Is there something that like I remember speaking to Adam Pennell. We were talking about shoe pastry. He was a competition that had time constraints, right? And he's like, I chose to do a shoe pastry burn, and it was the worst thing I ever did, and I'm never making shoe pastry ever again. Is there something in the baking world that you just, I just can't stand? I'm not doing it, won't ever do it. Is there anything like that?
I don't. It used to be meringue, because I had a few failures with meringues. But during this sort of lockdown, I kind of like took time to do things and try different things, and actually they've come out all right now. they've come out quite well now. Again, with the shoe pastry, that was similar. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I can't do it. But actually now I'm quite good at eclairs. Quite well now. So I think sometimes it's very frustrating if something doesn't work. I tend to be a bit cautious with different recipes or new things, because I always think, oh, well, if it doesn't work, I get really cross if it doesn't work with myself, really, because I think, oh, why, how have you managed to mess that up, sort of thing. It's all trial and error, really.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about because I mean, obviously baking's massive, isn't it? And it's the amount of different bakers that are in and around town. But was there ever been a moment in time where you think, do you know what, I fancy going on Great British Bake Off?
I'm not convinced that I would cope with the pressure. And I don't, this is going to sound really horrible, and I don't have anything against Paul Hollywood, but I really hate the way that I really hate the way that he just like hacks their cakes. Like when he cuts it, it really like pains me that he just like chops a really wonky piece off. He doesn't cut it nicely. I'm sure it's just for the telly, but it really frustrates me, because I think, they spent all that time and then he just cuts it with no care, which I don't know.
I think I would struggle.
That's interesting.
I'd struggle with that. I struggle with that though, because even if I could bake, right, which is, by the way, my dad and my stepmom, they've been baking for decades, right? So for me to not be a baker is sacrilege. But anyway, even if I could, and I was on that show, I imagine it gets quite nasty, and I'd just be so protective. Hey, Sandra, get your hands off me ganache! Like, I could see you. Yeah. I could see you there. Like,
I kind of hope that it doesn't get nasty, but I do know what you mean. It would be, because it is a competition, isn't it?
Yeah, ultimately, yeah.
I think that sometimes as well, I feel like my bakes wouldn't be as out there as perhaps some other people's. I'm not overly, like when they mix all different flavours, I'm not overly adventurous with the flavouring. I like to do things that I know work, and I don't I feel like I'd probably get booted off for not being too adventurous.
I mean, your
But my
product.
friend actually.
Sorry. No. I was just going to say your product looks fantastic.
No.
Anyway, I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of the stuff that you put on your social media is probably worthy of winning Bake Off anyway because it looks fantastic.
Yeah, I would say that. Looking at some of these,
But my friend did actually try and sign me up for it because they knew that I'd never do it myself. But at the time, I worked in a bakery, and so I couldn't actually sign up, which I was quite thankful for because I thought, yeah, I don't think I would be able to do it. I think the pressure would be. I think I'd be okay if I knew what I was doing. Like when they do all the things and the showstoppers, it would be the blind bit when they get the technical. I think I would just go to pot, even though I probably knew how to do it. I think I'd probably it'd all go out of your mind. The pressure of the tent.
Yeah. Like you say, it's just thrown at you, isn't it? And it's like, just do this.
if say you did go on Bake Off and you're like, right, make us your signature cake, the thing that know you can make the best, what would it be?
Oh gosh, that's a good question.
Thank you.
Well, if it was if it was a pudding, probably like a sticky toffee pudding and like the sauce. I can do that quite well. If it was a cake, probably just a Victoria sponge, like a simple Victoria sponge, but I decorate it really nicely and have all nice bits and pieces for it, I think, because I can do I can do a Victoria sponge pretty well. Like that's my go-to.
Is that what most of your sort of, in terms of the cake, I mean, because obviously when you see your cakes, you see that, the artwork, what I call the artwork outside, all of your decoration. Yeah. But are you more of are you like a sponge lady or a fruitcake lady, or what's your preference?
Julie, don't be so rude to the guests.
Sponge or fruit?
Sponge cake is probably the one that I do the most, I would say. A lot of people like a vanilla sponge, but a few of them are chocolate, or I've done like some Biscuit flavoured ones. I've done a couple of caramel ones. So yeah, I'm actually just made, my best friend is getting married in July, hopefully, and she's asked me to make her cake. So I've just made her fruit cake. She's having a fruit cake base. So I've made that, and that will be maturing nicely now till July. I'll feed it a couple of times with brandy to make it nice. And so I can do both, but a lot of people go down the sponge route of either vanilla or some sort of flavour, depending on what they fancy.
Of course.
I think I'm going to feed myself with brandy tonight. I've got this moral debate going on, right? Because I've given up alcohol for Lent, but I feel like this is, I don't know why I made this decision to do this, because I like to have a few drinks with the guys in the podcast, and we got like a really good guest on tonight. When I hype myself up, and I'm kind of like, I'm probably going to have a beer tonight, so probably going to hell. In all honesty,
why not?
I think you can allow yourself. I think you can allow yourself like one or two and still class it as giving it up. I've done it myself. Giving it up for Lent is very, very difficult. Very, very difficult.
I mean, it's not like I've got the shakes, and this isn't a disrespect to anybody that's got alcohol dependency, by the way. I'm not. This isn't. But like, I just think it's boring. It's just boring. I like to have a couple of beers. Like one of the best podcasts I ever did was one I did for USOC. What's the difference? Very in the early days when we first started. Adam Pennell, I got absolutely obliterated, and by the end of the podcast, I could barely talk. And Tom Bruno was laughing so much at me. We had to do two different versions of the show. One, Alex getting drunk, and one with me being drunk, because I felt so unprofessional. But
it sounds like quite a fun place to be, actually. It sounds quite fun.
Well, that's it. That's what's happening tonight. I don't care. Speaking to a guy who directed one of the most iconic movies ever, Wrong Turn, and we're going to be speaking to him tonight. And I just want to be like, "Hey, welcome to the show." Amy, what would your plans be? Let's talk about sort of fantasy football. I don't know, this kind of realm where you had the budget to do so. You could go out there. There are no limitations with COVID. What would you like to do with this business idea of yours?
I guess I'd like to actually have a bakery, I guess, like a bigger area, and maybe perhaps have some staff maybe, and so you can take on not necessarily more stuff, but just different things. Because I think it's very important to have people with different skill sets, because it would be impossible to do everything, to know everything and be good at every single part of it. So I think it would be nice to have a bigger premises and maybe some staff so you could do different things. I
guess you do everything from home then, you are.
So I've got a kitchen in the garden. So it's I'm in it now actually. So it's like a porter cabin sort of thing, with an oven and food. It's all kitted out like a kitchen. So I've got all the proper bits and pieces and tins and everything. So it's in my parents' garden. I'm very lucky that they've let me spoil their garden by putting this at the back of it. So
is it because you need like a certain size oven? Is it because you need to get so much in, or?
Not really. You can. I could have just done it from our kitchen in the house, but I just felt that as it's my parents' house, it's a lot to be doing stuff in like the family kitchen because it takes over everything. Whereas in my little kitchen in the garden, if I haven't quite finished something, I can just leave it till the next day. I've got in the background over there, I've got some Easter bits and pieces drying, and you haven't got to worry about putting it away. You can just cover it over and leave it. So it's quite nice to be able to do that. And
I suppose the other thing as well is because you are now like an official business, you probably want to have that and going to work, even if it is only a few steps down the bottom of the garden.
It's literally like about 10 steps across the drive. But it is quite nice to be out in here. So I work with my mum. My mum works with me helping. She's very good at the carving, the shaped cakes that you see. She's very good at that. So she works with me. So sometimes it's just the two of us in here and the radio. We just crack on with what we're doing. And then, you can just turn it all off at the end of the night and go into the house and you're not surrounded by it. It's just like, it's almost like finishing a real work day, like leaving the office, so to speak, which is nice.
Yeah, it gives you that separation, doesn't it? So
yes, definitely, yeah.
How are you getting your cakes? Because it's not something you could probably just easily put in a cardboard box and send off with Royal Mail or a courier, etc.
So I either deliver them sort of locally, or people can collect from us. So it's very sort of localized, really. I have actually been trialing posting brownies. So far my trials have been okay so far, because I think they're probably the sturdiest thing you could send. That it doesn't matter if they get a little bit sort of bashed around. So that's just quite simple. But normally you just put the cake it's obviously on a board, and then it does go in a cardboard box, so to speak. And to be fair, if you keep them flat and drive steadily, they'll be all right. It's you do have to just say keep them. People like to put them on their lap, which is always a bit of a mistake. It's best to just put it in the footwell flat or in the boot.
I've been there before.
What is local?
Wedding cake on my lap. Don't drop the cake.
What is local? So you say about delivering local. How far would you sort of travel from where you are?
I've been to Telford. Someone asked if I could deliver to Telford, so I just say yes, but it's a small delivery charge just to cover my petrol, really. So because I'm in Hadnall, so we're not too far from Shrewsbury, Wem, those sort of places. So just sort of just around the area, really.
Right.
But when we do the VMS, we like to ask our guests for those light bulb moments, eureka, those moments. What was that moment for you when you realized, I've got to do this, I've got to make a business now, otherwise I'm never going to do it?
I think actually the lockdown, just not going to work and being really like, what am I going to do? I think it was kind of like, if you don't do it now, when are you going to do it? What are you going to do instead? Because I haven't got a job. of like, well, you haven't got a job, so what? You're going to have to look for a job, so you might as well just set it up. And I think that was my family were very supportive and sort of give me a bit of a push and were like, you can do it. And my brother helped me out very kindly. He lent me some money to buy the kitchen because I didn't quite have enough. So he agreed that he would lend me some money, which I'm working on paying him back, but it's a rather slow process. But he's pretty chilled, so it's not too bad. He's pretty chilled about that. So I think it was definitely the sort of lockdown that made me think, right, do it now.
Yeah. A lot of good things have come out of this, I think, in terms of
I think
like people getting inspiration.
Yeah, it has been a bit pants in that you haven't been able to do what you were doing before and things like that. But I do think that sometimes, well, for me anyway, like sorting this out properly has been a good thing. So yeah.
Phoenix out of the flames, so to speak.
I love that. I really do like that.
But I think that is so true though, because we spoke to quite a few businesses, Al, haven't we? That lockdown has presented different opportunities to allow people to sort of like diversify and go in different directions that perhaps they wouldn't have thought of. And so it's kept the business alive, it's pushed it in a different direction, it's meant a different audience. So and instead of just family and friends obviously getting to see your cakes, now the whole of sort of a surrounding area of postcodes in and around Shrewsbury and a bit further.
It has been really good. I was a bit nervous. I wasn't sure if it would take off or if people would even want cake or things like that. I was kind of a bit like, is now the time to do it? Will people want to buy cake, or will they be thinking about other things? But no, it's been really, really, really good. I've been a lot busier than I anticipated, which is great. It's been really, really good.
That's the
What's
hurdle.
Your best seller? Oh, sorry, Al.
No, you're right.
What's your best seller?
When I go to the market and do a market stall, I sort of do all like tray bakes and slices and scones. So I would probably say chocolate brownie. I try and do like make it different flavors, so put different things in it. So sort of like have mint or chocolate orange or Maltese or things like that, and that always goes down really well, as well as fruit scones.
Scones. I'm very happy to hear you say scones, by the way. That's one of the questions I like to ask guests. Scone or scone?
It's very difficult, isn't it? Because it does always cause a debate. Where I used to work, we had them on the menu, and I would just, when someone asked for one, I would see what they said, and then so if someone said scone, I would say scone. But if they said scone, I would say scone. So
then scone. Get out of here. No.
So are you a Shrewsbury then, or a Shrewsbury? Because obviously that's a
Shrewsbury. But
I'm Scruggersburg. That's what I am. It's the Scruggersburg. I think that's right. That's what Nigel Baker said. He was like, it's actually like Scruggersburg. There's different variations on it.
Oh my gosh, remember that one?
That's probably wrong, but I'm going on verbatim, and my verbatim is like, I can't remember what I did yesterday. Never mind when I spoke to Nigel Baker, the great and powerful Nigel Baker, by the way. He's amazing. I love finding people like you, Amy, because I feel like you're an inspiration to people. You've, like, I did mention hurdle. Well, I got rudely interrupted. No, that is the hurdle, though, isn't it? Is like, are people going to buy my products? Like Jules, are people going to let me walk their dogs? Are people going to listen to my podcast? That is a really hard thing to get over.
Yeah, I think as well, when sort of I do make cake, obviously it was for friends and family. And I think sometimes you always think, well, they have to say that it's good because they're your friend, or I still really struggle. And my sister is quite good at being like, oh, this is my sister and she makes amazing cakes. And I'm like, oh, shush, stop it. Like, pack it in. Because then people are like, oh, what? And I'm like, shut up. And she's like, no, you need to tell people that you do it. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. So
it's not wrong.
She's very good, actually. She is very good.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, shh. But yeah, I think it's sort of, I think it's in your own mind, isn't it? You think, are they just saying that because she's my sister or my friend? So I think it is a bit of a test. But then when you see people actually buying your things and saying, oh, well, this is really nice, it's always lovely to get nice feedback and see people enjoying your cakes and things is good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Are there any lessons that any I hate asking this question, but I think it's really important, right? Because I don't call them mistakes, I call them lessons. Is there anything that you've learned that maybe you may have done wrong to start off with? Like, okay, we know not to do that anymore. Like those moments where you go, that's where the problem is, you know?
I sometimes not, I think, but not believing in yourself is a bit of a mistake sometimes. And you think, if I'd have had a bit more confidence, I might have done it before now. I feel like if I'd have done it before now, I could have been a little bit further along, if that makes sense. And then always when you make a mistake with a recipe as well, and you've ruined something, I always think, why is that gone wrong? I do get very annoyed. And I'm probably a little bit harsh on myself, I think, sometimes about when you do make a mistake or you've not quite done something correctly. I think you're your own worst critic, and you could maybe be a little bit kinder to yourself, I think. So far I don't feel like I've made any massive errors or mistakes. I might be speaking too soon now, but I feel like I've sort of been I've been trying to learn from things. I did do some cakes for somebody else asked me if I could make some cakes, and I feel like I did actually undercharge in the end. I wasn't quite sure on my pricing, and I think that's always a big thing. Is you think, will they pay that for my cake? And then I think, actually, I should have charged more because it actually, could have made a bit of a better profit, sort of thing. I think that's been a big learning curve for me. Is the being confident in your pricing is a bit of a learning,
because you need to be competitive, obviously. So you don't want to price yourself out, do you? So
no, you want to be competitive, but you don't want to price. You don't want to price yourself out. But you want to be competitive, but you don't want to undercut people either.
Yeah, definitely.
Because then that makes people annoyed if you undercut. So it's trying to just get it right and learn from it. Yeah.
So when's the next WEM market? Are they running at the moment? Are they not?
Yes, we had one. Yeah, we had the first one this year last Saturday. I think that's right. Yeah. So then the next one, I believe, is the 10th. I hope that's a Saturday now I've said it. The 10th. The 10th of April is the next one. So it's really nice to be there and see people. And just it's quite small. There's only like 7 of us in the little square, but it's everyone's local, everyone's really friendly. And then obviously people come and buy things, and they're always very lovely, and it's nice to be out in the community. Getting your products out there and promoting your business, really, which is good.
Yeah.
I wish I had the gift of the gab, really, when it comes to. I know I can talk to people. This is what I do. Yeah, and I see
Jules. Podcast. How could you even say those words?
I don't know. I don't have that thing where I can go up to a stranger and be like, "Hey, welcome. This is the Shoes with Biscuit."
No.
I can't do that on the street, right? You've seen me with a microphone. I kind of I kind of implode a little bit. I'm kind of like. I can't do it. I wish I had that. I wish I could climb to the top of a plinth and just be like, people.
It's very difficult. I think it is difficult to talk to people. I'm not the best at it. As I said, my sister Abby, she is far more outgoing than I am, and she'll sort of like start you off. She'll like push you towards talking to people. She'll be like, and then it's not so bad. So I'm not the best at talking to people that I don't know, but I feel like I've got better at it, but it's hard. I don't think I'd be very good. When you see like, it's a bit stereotypical, but like when they do the markets and they've got people shouting like, roll up, come and get you. Like, I'm not
that tends to be the butchers, doesn't it, that do that? They go, look, my 20 pounds of 20 kilos of meat.
There's a lady in Bridge North. She's on the market, and I think it's fruit and veg, and she was shouting about the strawberries, and she was just so enthusiastic, and I just thought, I wish I could do that. And it was great because people were going and they knew that she was there, so it was great. It was really working. But yeah, I'm not very good at things like that. Yeah.
I think I'm all right from a distance. I bet I could do that. In fact, I know I could. I used to be a bingo caller.
Yeah.
I used to do things like that.
Yeah.
I've been on stage. Yes, I did.
Didn't know that.
Well, now you do. I've done. I could do things in front of people on stage when people are far away, But when people come to me and they're like, "Yeah, what's this you're talking about?" I'll be like, "Yeah, there's this."
I think you do kind of get used to it. I think being at the market. So I sort of started the market. I think it was maybe last July, perhaps. Mm-hmm. I think to start with, I was a little bit quiet, but now because it's people that come regularly as well. I do think you build up a bit of a rapport and you sort of like have a bit of a chat to them. And yeah, it's at the end of the day, you've got to be enthusiastic about what you're selling. Otherwise, people won't buy it. So you kind of have to be like, oh, this is my chocolate brownie, and this is what we've done, and things. I think that's to try and get it across.
This is the thing I'm having to learn with the biscuit at the moment, because we are asking for sponsors at the moment, and I am having to put prices on things, which I've never had to do before. That wasn't the goal of doing this, but it needs to happen to keep us sustainable, right? And I'm like, I feel guilty about asking people for money, but then I've had explained to me just this week that people want to be part of things like what we're doing. People want to buy your cakes, and they will pay the price because there's a price for everything. So you've got to accept that money. That for me is a guilt thing, a crazy, weird guilt thing that's going on there with me at the moment that I need to get over. It's a weird thing, right?
I think you do sort of get better at it. I think part of what's helped me is I was part of Young Farmers, and we had to, every year we did a float for the Shropshire show. It used to be the West Mid show, and we always had to write to people and ask for sponsorship. So I think that has sort of put me instead for speaking with people and liaising with people and saying, oh, can we do this, can we do that, would you be interested in this? So I think that has helped a lot. I also took part in some of the speaking competitions, like debating and after dinner speaking, which I think has helped. When I first started, when I was like 16, I never spoke to anyone. I just sort of sat in the corner. But doing the competitions and speaking, I think has definitely given me a little bit more confidence to speak to people that you don't know and ask for things. Mm-hmm. It's good. Yeah, I think it's a good thing.
If you don't ask, you don't get, basically. So
that is the thing. You've got to try and keep that in mind. And I think sometimes it's how you ask as well, isn't it? And if you can put it in a way that makes it good for both of you, I think that's it. That usually works as well. So
yeah. I feel like everything you do, as far as what's the best way to put it? I'm a podcaster. Jules likes to walk dogs. You like to make cakes. Whatever it is that you're passionate about. There you go. If you want to put a price on that, you've got to overcome so many obstacles before you can be ready to do it. Okay, because I've had to learn so much, right? Because this is what I do. I sit behind a microphone and I talk, and I tend to be all right at it. And all the biscuiteers, they're great at it. I had to learn how to edit, how to be a graphic designer, how to market, how to do this, that, and the other, how to schedule, how to sweet talk people into coming on my show and stuff. But then there's like this new hurdle that I'm coming across now. This is therapy with Alex Whiteley, by the way. Is putting a price on what we're doing, and that is a difficult thing for me to do. I feel like you've got an up on me there, because you've got a great product and you're already doing really well by the looks of it. So thanks for inspiring me. There you go.
Oh, well, thank you. That is great. It's been, it's good. You just got to keep trying.
What does the future look like outside of COVID for you, Amy?
Hopefully, when there's not so much COVID, and we can do things, hopefully we'll be able to. I really enjoy doing sort of like fairs and stalls and things like that. So hopefully we'll be able to get back to that and get back to seeing people and communicating with customers. But I do really enjoy things like that, and I've been doing a lot of afternoon teas as well. I did quite a few for Mother's Day, which was good. I really do enjoy doing things like that. So hopefully, after COVID, we'll be able to get back to that. And I'm not really sure otherwise. I don't really know.
I'd like the food festival, isn't it? Because the food festival's been pushed right back to, I want to say the end of September, but I don't think it's that far back. But it's certainly the latter end.
Eventually, I think I would like to. It would be I feel like a goal would be to perhaps have a stall at a food festival of some kind, and just be like, this is my stuff. This is my product. Like, that would be really cool. So I do like going around food festivals and seeing how other people display things. And because at the end of the day, I'm a baker. I like to bake. I'm not really very good at displaying things. Like the social media stuff is all done by Abby. She's just taken total charge of that. So I literally just take the photos and then she comes up with all the content. She's really, really good because it's not something that I'm particularly great at. And I think that when you are doing things like this, if someone is good at it and is offering to help you, if they have a skill that you don't have, if they're offering to help you, I think it's important to accept help.
Definitely.
Because otherwise I think you just drive yourself insane because you wouldn't be happy with it. Whereas when Abby does all the Instagram and Facebook, it always looks great. She usually runs it by me. And I'm like, post whatever, I don't mind. I think it's really important because otherwise I think I'd just be really disappointed with it because I'm just not very good at that. Whereas Abby would say she isn't that great at baking. So it kind of like works for us to work together and
that takes the pressure off you, doesn't it? Because you're using the strengths of other people to allow you to produce what you're excellent at, which is, bringing out these cakes.
Yeah.
So, and you probably could do without the stress of then having to worry about, and then how do I make it all look like this?
Yeah, definitely. It's really nice to have someone else to do that. I'm really lucky that Abby does that for me. So, it's good. It's really good to do that.
Well,
so where can people find you then? In terms of, I know you've got obviously Facebook and Instagram. I really just Facebook and Instagram is mainly where we are. I don't have a website. It's something I am thinking about, but I don't feel like I'm quite there yet for a website. And then I'm at the market in Wem on the second Saturday of the month. We're normally there from 9 o'clock. And that's sort of it at the moment, really. That's kind of where we're actually say about the market. Are you there until your product's sold out? Or
well, the market is it starts officially at 9, but people are usually milling around about 8:30, and then it finishes around 12. So if there's still loads of people milling around, we sort of like stay on. But if it's not, like this weekend just gone, it was very, very windy and very, very cold. And by 11:30, everyone had really gone. So we kind of just sort of packed up. But we're sort of there. And then if I didn't have anything left over this time, well, I did, but my friend bought everything I had left. She was like, I want some cake. What have you got left? I told her what I got left. Expecting her to just say, like, I'll have 3 pieces of flapjack. She actually bought 14 slices of tray bake. She was like, I'll have the lot. So, that was quite good because I didn't have anything left. But when I do it normally, and if I do have things left, I put it on my social media and we sell them in boxes, like whatever's left in boxes of 6. And people can either come and collect them that day, or I'll deliver them on the Sunday, or they can collect. So it's good. Nothing really goes to waste, which is great. If I have stuff left, I do try and sell it after.
Excellent.
Yeah, good.
Amazing.
That was Abby's idea.
Good stuff.
Good partnership. Good. It's good to have a cheerleader at the side, someone that will help you out.
Definitely.
Look, guys, thank you very much. Thank you, Amy, for this, by the way. It's been really nice speaking to you. I know you're a little bit nervous, but I think you did really, really well today.
It's been very good. Thank you so much.
No, it's been really good. Before we get out of here, I want to tell you guys about our website. If you've listened to all these podcasts, one after the other, there goes my telecom. You're probably like, well, you should have about this podcast. No, I won't. Here it is. It's the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast.co.uk, and that's made for us by our friends at Web Orchard. Check out all of our episodes. You can learn about us. You can get in contact with us from the website. It's fantastic. If you need one, they will sort you out. Web Orchard are amazing. And we're looking at making some changes to that website as well, because I'm feeling like maybe I could write some vloggy stuff. Maybe we could throw in some sexy new features on the website. So I'm meeting up with Pete next week and we're going to do those changes. And thank you very much, Amy, for this. It's been really nice talking to you.
Thank you, Amy. Yeah.
Thank you very, very much for having me. It's been really, really cool. I've really enjoyed it. It's been really good. So thank you.
Excellent.
Right, guys, we'll catch you next time. Peace out.